2. We will be back with season 3. Don't you worry.
We definitely will. And also, I think Brandon's going to be doing like
a special, exclusive
men's edition. He's super excited about this.
It's going to be phenomenal. Oh my gosh, we're going to get to it.
Okay, but today I'm super excited because we wanted to make sure that the finale was really catering to all of you guys, our viewers, our community, our audience. We wanted to do a Q&A.
It's going to be the best episode of season 2. You know why? Because it is question and
answers. And we're going to be completely honest. We're going to answer your questions to the best of our ability.
Yeah, we got them right here.
Being super transparent. And we're just going to dive right in. So thank you so much. We're keeping all the questions anonymous. We're not going to share who sent them.
We're not going to share. Don't worry.
We're just going to state the question and then answer it and then pray that it blesses you. Okay?
I'm going to start with the first one.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So someone definitely gave us this question.
Okay.
It was not a fabricated question.
Okay.
The first one is, can guys and girls be friends without having romantic feelings?
Would you like me to take it first?
I think we're both going to take it. But I asked the question, so you give a good
answer?
First. Yeah.
Okay.
Give a statement.
Yeah. So for someone who, before Brandon and I got into a relationship, had guy friends, right? I now have a guy friend. So I think that should probably answer having, you know, multiple guy friends versus now having probably, like, I would consider myself having like one close guy friend. And if he's watching, what's up, Rob? But I think that it's all in the name of, yes, you can have, like, guys and girls can be friends without having romantic feelings, but I think first and foremost you have to establish that there isn't any sort of romantic connection. Like, you would never date this person under any circumstances. Like, you kind of view them like a brother, someone that you just wouldn't be romantic with, to the point to where you would be totally fine if this person was to be friends with your significant other. I think that if you can't see your guy friends being friends with your guy, then they probably aren't going to remain your guy friends. And I think vice versa for guys. I don't think that you should have any platonic relationships with women that can't be friends with your woman. That's my answer.
That's a good answer. I will also say that I had female friends.
Who? What's their names?
and which that she has all met.
Yeah.
Literally all of them.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like, being single and a church leader, like, you obviously befriend both sides, you know what I mean? But like you said, when it's like a completely like, yo, that's sis, that's bro, that's bro type thing, like, as long as the lines are never blurred,
right,
and the communication is completely open to where you can see text messages or DMs,
right,
or, you know, I'm not weird about answering a phone call from a female friend, or you're not weird about answering a phone call from your guy friend, like, right, you know what I'm saying? Like, it has to be very open, and the communication line of that, to where it doesn't get,
I agree. I think what you said is really important. I think that if at any point, if the lines are blurry, then I think that you would probably have to really find the answer to the question to why the line is blurry. I also believe that if the lines are blurry and you enter into a relationship that's committed, then usually those blurred lines are gonna get blown away. Like, and the people with them. Like, they're usually gonna go with the wind because there hasn't been some level of solidification on what that actual relationship is. And I think that if you haven't been able to define what it is, then the lack of definition probably says it all. So I would say that guys and girls can be friends if that the relationship is honest and transparent. I also believe that, and I'm gonna put this out there, because I know that if someone's asking this question, I'm gonna assume that maybe you're in a relationship and maybe this is a topic of conversation in your relationship. If one of the parties in the relationship is uneasy
Yes.
about your relationship with this person, about the friendship with this person, then you really have to take your partner's feelings into consideration, which may be you either completely dissolving this relationship or definitely keeping it at bay and at a distance. It may not any longer be that this friend is someone that you call and confide in every single time you get upset, that this is the person that you talk to on the phone with for hours, that you hang out and go to the movies with and eat dinner. That usually is reserved for your partner.
And should be.
Right? It's safety. That's like your partner should be your best friend. So you should want to go to the movies, hang out, talk to. All these things are reserved for your relationship, right? So it could be to where if someone in the relationship says, I feel uncomfortable, like I don't know if that relationship.
Yeah, just don't make it weird.
Right.
Like, I mean, we could stay on this subject for the whole episode, but
yeah.
I mean, don't make it weird. If you are in a place where it's like you're giving information to your friends before your significant other, it's probably inappropriate. You know, like, why are you calling him or her and saying, you got that promotion, or you're thinking about relocating, or big severe things. Yeah, you could probably have years in the game, but there should be a level of trust that you've already established with your significant other, that we're best friends and I can't wait to show you what I've done type thing.
And there's also that level of, I remember when I had friends when we were younger and they were moving on into the next season of their life to where they were getting engaged and getting married.
There's involvement.
There's involvement. And the truth of the matter is, it's not a lot of times when you get into those relationships, are you able to remain close with people that are still single, because it's a different season of life. One of the other things that I noticed is that usually my friends that I had that were girls and that were moving on in this next phase of their life, they started confiding and telling their men all of their business. Like their husbands, their fiancés, their boyfriends knew all, there were no secrets between them. So it's one of those things to where this should come first. This should be the most nourished relationship outside of your relationship with Christ.
Yes.
This should come first, right?
Full nourished.
Do you?
Through our friendship.
Come on and be hydrated, All right, do you want to?
No, you do the second question.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I was trying to let you go ahead on it.
We're taking turns. I told you, tag team. Ready? Your turn.
Come on, finale. All right, tag on it. All right. Oh, okay. This is a good question. Okay, how long is too long for a long distance relationship?
Well, as you know, we started off long distance.
We did.
And I think it was just about too long. I needed to get her here. You know what I mean? Like, I think also your age, the season of your age, right, plays a big role in distance. Because you could be like, I like my space, I like my routine, I still want companionship over social media and the phone. But then why are you in a relationship to begin with? You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you're really like, I need to be with this person, I love this person, I'm building a future with this person, well, get on over here then. Let's make it happen. Let's get to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think for context purposes, Brandon and I, started dating in August. I think I was permanently here, probably end of January, beginning of February, fully kind of like being in San Antonio. So I would say, what is that? That's roughly like 5 months that we were long distance.
4.5.
Okay.
5.
So,
yeah.
And like he said, I think that there was a certain part of our relationship that was solidified enough for us to make the decision for one of us to relocate to be in the same city. But there was a certain part of our relationship that didn't fully kind of like evolve and grow until we were in the same city with one another. And I say that because sometimes having a long distance can have the excitement and the fantasy of what it would be like if we were together. It's kind of like dreaming of, oh, if we had Friday weekends to hang out, this is what we would do. And I tell a lot of my friends that date long distance that there has to be a plan to kind of like someone needs to move. The same way if you're talking and you met someone online, there has to be a plan to actually meet this person in person, to actually start dating,
Because you
right?
might get catfished.
You may get catfished, or it's not the reality of the person you're not fully getting because you're not with the person. Now, granted, I understand there's a lot of quarantine dating going on.
Oh, right. And snowing, getting snowed in.
The reality of flying back and forth was probably from a minimal
to none.
So
almost.
there could be a lot of people that have been in relationships that are long distance this entire year.
Those dating apps, man, y'all are making money right now, aren't you?
It's a great place to invest. I don't know. Stocks
Christian Mingle.
Stocks went up in 2020 on dating apps. I would say this. I would say what is considered too long? I would say by 6 months, if there isn't a serious conversation about a plan to relocate into the same city, I would be very mindful in continuing the long distance relationship.
Right.
I'm not saying right at 6 months someone needs to move, but I think there needs to be a plan in place of when that's going to happen and what that means.
And what it looks like.
And what that looks like, because again,
What does it look like?
I think that long distance dating, again, it can be very fantasy driven. You know, you talk on the phone all day, every day. You're texting. It's a lot of the benefits of having a person without actually having the person.
Right.
You have to see what the person looks like after work, on their day to day. Like those types of things are
Make 'em
important.
coffee, you know?
Make them coffee.
Make them some taco
You know,
Tuesday, taco Thursday.
go on
something.
a walk after work. You know, it's certain things that you just need to see, be around.
Yeah.
Go to church together. Amen.
Which brings us to our next point.
Our next question.
Our next question and point.
What?
So, someone asked, is it okay for two people in a relationship to attend separate churches? That's a great question.
Okay, should I go first, Pastor?
Yeah, you go first.
'Cause I think-
I'll tell in it.
Okay.
Yeah, you go first.
I've known people that have gone to two separate churches.
Right.
And have been in the dating phase. I think that if you're dating, I don't think that there's technically anything wrong with going to do two different churches, but I think that if you are really looking into transitioning into marriage, I think that it's important to, what some may say, get fed from the same well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's important for you to be on one accord with what your soon-to-be spouse or spouse is getting fed, and as well as them to be mindful of what you're being fed. Because when you are attending two different churches, which could be two different ministries, two different communities, there's already a separation that begins. You're both believers, and maybe you do come home and unpackage the words that you both received, but you have to unpackage them primarily because they're two different words, right? So I think in order to remain on one accord, to be on one page, to be able to pray into the same thing, to be aware of the same things, there's certain things that Brandon may catch in church or bring up that I may have missed,
Same.
and vice versa, right? But I also think with that being said, I think the two need to be in agreement with what church fits both of them. Right? I think that's important to come to some level of, this is a church that I really want to attend and why, and this is a church that I really want to attend and why. There may be some level of compromise that needs to be done, but on the bigger scale, this is about your lives together.
Yes, it is.
It's not just about a season going to a church. It's literally about you planting yourself into a ministry, into a community, into a congregation, and this is what's going to be feeding you, your future family going forward. It's a big decision. It should be made together, and it should be something that both of you guys are in agreement with.
Yes, I completely agree with everything she says.
Yay.
I have known both sides to that coin. People that are in dating relationships, obviously, are sometimes you meet each other at a function and you are involved in two separate churches, or it could even be to your leadership and you serve at two separate churches and you're getting married, and you got to discuss where are you going to land at, like what church, who's going to go where, because you're getting married, right? And I've known couples that have gotten married and they have served at two separate churches because they've both had big leadership positions in the churches, and they continue doing that. But I will also say there will be a point where it can't last forever, because you have to have that community and fellowship and worshiping together under the same church roof. There's something that's very special about going to church together in a marriage, in a relationship. I'm not saying that you can't not do that. There may be times where you feel like I need to get fed outside of this church and these four walls. I need a different well to draw from. For me, I'm constantly singing. I'm constantly ministering. I know a lot of pastors that are doing the same thing every week, multiple times a week. They're preaching, and you're giving out. But there's something that's very, very important to do and recognize, that you as a pastor and as a leader have to go somewhere to be fed and filled. And one thing that we started doing is attending a service during the week that we can both sit under and draw from, and worship together and just enjoy being fed and sitting at the table and being fed together, and we decided to do that. I encourage you to do the same thing if you're facing that.
I also was going to say too, like, one of the other things that benefits going to church together is there's an accountability there. There's something about when you go to separate churches that it's either one person is either going to leave one and go to the other because you want to be closer to your significant other to support them in their ministry and in their walk, or you'll have one that stops going to church because it's the loneliness of, well, why am I going to church by myself when I have a whole partner and significant other that goes to a whole other church? So it's also accountability to keep everybody in the household unified and to keep the relationship.
And you have to be in agreement with that decision too. Like what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's great. Yeah.
And I think, again, it goes back to you two being in agreement on what is best for you in the season of your life. And like you said, we made the decision that was one of the things at closing out 2020 that we decided, because he's always ministering, because he's always giving out, because I'm usually, if I'm at church, I'm sitting by myself watching him, minister, right? Yeah, but sometimes what he doesn't want to know, sometimes I don't love it, because sometimes I wish that he was next to me so I can hold his hand.
I do know, because we had that discussion.
Or be there so I'm not looking at an empty seat where other, partners and spouses are holding their significant others, And sometimes I want him to get fed. But again, decisions that you make together.
And it works out. And you make those decisions and you go forth with it and you be great.
Yeah, and we like it.
Yeah. So it brings us to our next question,
which I'm super excited about. I also think it's kind of funny. Whoever sent this one in, thank you so much. Okay, is it a problem if you don't have access to your partner's social media accounts?
Yes. It's a problem. And you know what's funny? I mean, for us it was a little bit different, because I've never been like,
weird
go ahead.
About it.
Yeah, I've never been weird about it. I'm not weird about my phone being out. I'm not weird about, anything like that. My phone can be out, it can be unlocked. Any call, any text that comes through, I don't care. Read it.
I see them all.
Yeah, there's nothing weird that comes across my phone.
He sees them all too.
And same with her. Like, she has never been weird about any text messages, calls, social media posts, anything like that. But it goes back to being ready to be in a serious relationship. Because when you're ready, everything is
What?
in agreement. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I was going to say one of the biggest challenges that people have, especially if you've been single for a long time, because and when I'm thinking about the person that was sending this in, I'm thinking about someone who is having a hard time relinquishing power and privacy. And I think one of the biggest things when you actually are entering into, you know, a healthy relationship and there isn't really a lot of privacy. And I say that not to be like, oh, well, y'all don't have any privacy. No, we have private time, right? We have moments of solitude to where we're not in each other's space and face all of the time. But there isn't like things that we say are off limits. There's no privacy when it comes to him. There aren't private conversations that I'm having with someone else that I can't have in front of him. Like, it's not like if he walks into the room that I need to go and walk out because what I'm saying I don't want him to hear, or vice versa. Right. Usually when I hear something about social media accounts, I would just like, there's either trusting or there's issues with just relinquishing some privacy.
You gotta relinquish it.
So I would ask the question of, okay, maybe not having access to social media accounts, I would check like, are you guys okay with having, you know, phone conversations in the same room?
Right.
Like, are you okay with friends calling, answering, him being present, and vice versa? Are you okay with talking with your parents or your family in front of your significant other? All those little things usually are tell signs. So I wouldn't so much be so upset about having access to passwords as I would to, are there certain things that are off limits? Because nothing usually can be off limits when it comes to being in a relationship. It's all fair game. If you're asking a person to partner with you in life, you're asking them to look at your social media posts and have access to your DMs. It's like, why do I want to spend my life with someone if I can't even check their DMs? The two just don't go hand in hand.
Doesn't.
Have anything else to add there?
That was good. That was good. I started it off, so you ended that one. My turn. Tag. I'm it.
Okay, good.
This is a good one. How long should a man pursue without getting any reciprocation of interest? Any reciprocation of interest? Can I go?
Yeah.
I know it's not my turn, but
if you got something for the people, please give it.
Listen, if a man is pursued and being serious about
pursuit,
his pursuit, right? Not being like, hey, let's go get coffee. Oh, I gotta reschedule. He did it 3 times. You know, or I mean, he's being serious.
Consistency.
Like he's literally hitting you up. He's really caring about your day. He's sending you some scriptures, right? And he's being edifying to you. Not playing the game, but really being just genuine and authentic. That's him pursuing you. Sir, if she has not given you any interest, that's a sign to stand down. However, give him something as well. There are girls out here, don't give him the line that you are married to Jesus. All these college girls at Christian University, let me tell you, ain't nobody married to Jesus, okay?
Are they guys? They may be.
Gosh, man.
Okay.
I could go on about this one.
Okay.
For real.
Maybe we should. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say that there's 2 sides of the coin on this, because there is the
flip that coin.
Yeah, there's the whole thing. How long should a man pursue without getting any reciprocation? One, I would ask the man, are you being clear?
Right. That's also good.
With what you're pursuing, your intentions.
Yes.
Is your intentions clear?
Right.
Are you asking this person out for coffee because you want to get to know them more, because you're interested in dating her, or because you really want to solidify, hey, I'm interested in dating you. I would like for this to be your first date. Sometimes you have to be clear with using words like, hey, I would like to take you out for a date.
Yeah.
Some guys are afraid to use certain words because you think it's going to scare the girl off.
Probably
so
not.
Sometimes if you're going to be very casual with your language and your lingo, some women aren't going to reciprocate to that because they're like, I'm not really looking just to grab coffee for the sake of grabbing coffee. Like, I'm really looking for someone that's going to pursue me on the level of being their wife. Like, they see me as their Ruth. What's up? You know? So,
Boaz.
you know, are you
Stop.
acting like Boaz or
Ain't
not?
swinging. You know what I mean?
I mean, Boaz is very clear. Yeah, you're her. Let's get it. Now, this is my thing.
Let's get it.
That's Boaz. Listen, everybody always says that Ruth is waiting for. So women always say, "I'm just out here waiting for my Boaz." And this is the thing. People laugh at that, but what that woman is usually saying is they're waiting for a man with intention, with confidence, that's clear, and that's not going to handle them casually.
Yeah, that's good.
So, if you want to know how long you wait without reciprocation, then I would then say, you know, how has your efforts been in expressing that you are seriously pursuing your Ruth?
And also, if you're really looking for somebody, right? This goes into our next question, right? Is it wrong for a woman to pursue a man? Now, we're going to get into that question, but I want to say something, right?
Okay.
Because there's so many times when you're dating, you date your preference, right? Right. So sometimes your preferences, if you're so close-minded and you want what you want, is it that you want what you want because it's the desire of your heart, or is it you want what you want because you're selfish?
Ooh.
Right? Because that's that.
I actually had a woman DM me today, and I don't know if she's watching this, but if she is, hey. And she literally said how when to agree brings her joy and how much of a blessing it is to her.
Our relationship.
Yes, our relationship bring her joy, right?
Because we are joyful and triumphant.
Okay. But she was saying that she's had a friend for the last 3 years and that they are now seeing one another in a romantic way.
Well, come on!
And the statement that he said to her recently was, when are you going to stop running?
Oh. Well, sit down.
And really take me seriously. And I started asking questions. Like, well, if you've known this guy for 3 years, then I would say as a friend, you know his character. So you should be very clear if this is a man that you would want to seriously date or not. And if it is someone that you would seriously date, then what's the holdup? And you want to know what her response was?
I don't know, what was it?
He's not my type.
Oh.
I would have never thought that I would date someone like him.
And then this was my response to that.
Okay.
God always qualifies the unqualified.
Ooh.
Right. So, and because what I've learned that the way I thought it was gonna look and play out in my mind for my life, it has not looked like that in my mind.
Same.
And doing what God has always promised me that I would do, as career, as what, you know, he has promised me all those things, and he has literally given me every single promise, right? How I thought it was going to look is completely different, because God will always qualify the unqualified. He'll bring people that are so unexpected, but be everything that you absolutely need.
Oh.
No, and it goes for relationship, it goes for partnership, it goes for ministry relationships, it goes for road managers, it goes for musicians, it goes for employees, for your business. It goes for so many different things that you did not expect, because God qualifies the unqualified.
Yeah.
So you sometimes have to let go of your preferences.
Come on. It's true.
And allow God to just
Posture your heart
yeah
to want his will
yes
and his desire
Yes.
for your life. And
Yes.
his desire may not be your preference. Huh?
because it may be a flesh one. You may want it out of your flesh.
Come on.
And it doesn't mean a person. It could mean I'm preaching today. I'm
Come
sorry.
on, the pastor has showed up. y'all.
I know. And so let's go to this other
Last
question.
question, y'all.
Is it wrong for a woman to pursue a man?
Well, I'm just going to be completely honest. We're in 2021 at this point, and I have seen it all. And I have seen women really taking some initiative to showing interest to men. I've seen a lot
Thank
of,
God.
you know, they are.
That's men, right?
Now,
And not boys.
I mean, they are. They are showing initiative that they are interested. They are showing initiative that they would like to take them out. I've known women to actually ask a guy out on the first date. Not only that, I've known women to pay for the first date. It's never been me, but I'm saying what I have witnessed. But no, I will say this, to not even to shade anyone else. Every time that I have attempted to pursue, first, okay, I've always had to keep pursuing. Sometimes you have to be very mindful of what, it's not even a pursuit, it's a chase, and what you're chasing, and the whole intention behind your chase. Are you pursuing this person because you really feel called, that God has called you to be in partnership, relationship, covenant with this person? Because if God has given you that revelation, then that means that God will also give that revelation to the other person. This is the thing about healthy relationships and God-given relationships. You will not have to convince someone else that God has called them to you. God will independently give them that revelation without you having to sell yourself, without you having to pay for meals on meals, without you having to, catch flights, to do all of these things in order to make yourself available to someone God did not tell you to be available to.
Yeah.
So I would say that I don't think there's anything wrong with a woman showing interest.
Not at all.
I do think there is something that could be out of order with a woman chasing who God has called her to be with. Because I believe that men are called to lead, and God will give the revelation to the man that is supposed to be your man, your husband. And if he has not gotten that revelation, sis, then that either means that he ain't it or that ain't the time. And what that means for you is that you should probably turn that pursuit of that person onto the pursuit of Jesus. That same passion that you have to make yourself available to that individual, you should make yourself available to hear from the Lord.
It's true.
That's what that means.
Mm-hmm. I'm also going to say this too.
Go ahead.
I'm a progressive person.
You're a what?
Yeah. I'm modern. I'm modern.
Come on, talk about it.
I believe that chivalry is not dead.
Okay.
A man should be a gentleman.
Come on.
A man should pay
Come on,
for
gentlemen.
the first date.
Okay.
A man should. I didn't say that. However, a man should make the first move because he is called to lead.
Yeah.
It's not control. It's God has called a man to lead.
Yeah.
If it's already starting off as the woman is pursuing, I'm gonna be honest, I'm probably gonna get the negative comments for the very first time for when to agree, but I'm gonna say what I need to say. I think it's unattractive for a woman to keep pursuing. It's not attractive. As a man, I'm going to say that for me, my standpoint, anytime that I've received that, I've never once reciprocated. I've ran the other way.
It's been a turn off.
Yes, it's unattractive. If a man can literally, and he doesn't have to have the biggest bank account, but if he can save money for this day because at least he's showing you he's preparing something to take care of you. So as a man, lead. The first movement, take the first give initiative, make the first move, and the ladies reciprocate. Don't just stand there. Don't just sit there. Reciprocate. Accept it. Yeah, accept it. And then once it's been accepted, I'm not done.
Go
right? She's ready to answer.
Receive.
Yeah, receive. Yes. You got return. You know what I mean? Yeah, and then you can pursue once there's like that give and take of like, okay, I've established we're something. We're going somewhere. I'm leading this. Then you can start reciprocating and being like, I'm gonna take you out on a date. I just want to do something special for you. I'm gonna pay for this. You work hard. You've done this. Like that's that give and take thing.
Right.
But if you are out of the gate being like, I'm setting up where we're going to eat, I'm taking you, I'm going to go pick you up, I'm going to pay for you, then what is this dude doing? That's all. That's all I got to say on that.
I mean, at the end of the day, I also think that if you're going to lead, if you want to lead something, lead communication and being clear. Meaning, don't be afraid to ask questions like, where are we going? What are we? Are we established? Are we committed? Like, I've also noticed that maybe women shy away from asking the hard questions. And I think that if you want to lead something, lead in the language of asking great questions. Why would you like to take me out? Why did you ask me out on a second date? Are you seeing anyone else? When was your last date? Do you pursue everyone like this? Let them know. That's another way to show interest. When you start asking questions and you want to know specifics, that is your way. If you're unsure, like, well, I don't know if I'm really interested in being in a relationship, but be interested enough to ask some questions because that will help you find your answer.
That's true.
I think that was the last question,
That's
y'all.
the last question.
I mean,
this episode is concluding.
I'm super sad, but
Season 3 is coming.
Season 3 is coming, but also that, do you know what's happening next week for Season 4 of SHMG Podcast? Do you know what's going down? It's the premiere. It's the premiere of SHMG Podcast.
Are you subscribed?
Subscribe.
To what?
iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify. There's going to be 2 all-new episodes that are dropping. I have some great conversations. If you guys don't know, you need to definitely head over to casekeys.biz/SHMG to check out the calendar for March. I already have all the interviews set up. I have Miss Tamra J from season 19 of The Voice.
Go ahead.
That episode is dropping March 4th. I also have the influencer Jessica Clark dropping March 4th as well. 2 all-new episodes, SHMG Season 4, coming back next week. Look out for When to Agree, the men's edition.
It's coming.
Dropping.
It's coming.
With Brandon, so that you definitely need to make sure that you're following.
Hey, Tamara, you can say.
You can sing, girl. I'm so excited.
I'm waiting for the follow on Instagram. Just saying.
It's gonna be so good. Like when I tell you these conversations were amazing, like their testimonies, their authenticity, their transparency, like we get to it. They share how they were saved, healed, made, and grace.
That hat is coming off, but we are done with the episode. Follow at I am Brandon Watson, at Case Keys, at SHMG Pod. We will be back with Season 3, and we will see you soon.
On the gram. Thanks,
We'll see you
y'all. We love you so much.
Love you.
This
Go
was
be
fun.
mighty.
Hope you like the answers to the questions.
I hope you did.